What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball Fighters for y'all. So earlier today, they ran the UI Goku showcase, so they have been pretty consistent with showing off the new characters, but for the most part, they usually stream them from Japan, but for the first time, they streamed it from Europe, so this was pretty interesting. They streamed it, they showed off his moves, some combo examples, and they took questions from the audience. So specifically today, I'm going to be reviewing this. I've watched it earlier, I took some notes, but I also want to show you guys specific things, stuff like that, and I'll offer my comments. Of course, you know, I'm a really hands-on person, so on Wednesday, when I finally get the character, I'll be able to really dig the way I want, but I already have some thoughts about, like, how the moves are and how they work. Of course, I'll have a link to the archive below. They'll probably upload it to YouTube as well, but you know, a view on YouTube, a view on Twitch, like, Namco is happy no matter what, so I'll definitely send you that way for the whole thing, because I'm not going to go into the combo stuff so much. They also talk about, like, they create situations with him already, and to be honest, a couple of them, I was already like, I don't know if it's gonna be like this, but they have the character, I don't, so I could already, like, speculate, and I don't like doing that too much. As usual, if you have a sec and you like the content I've been putting out, please like this video or subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow, and I do appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay, and with that, UI Goku. So again, I'm just gonna be covering his moves and my thoughts on the moves after actually seeing them and being told what they are for the first time. I'm gonna kind of walk you through this on my own, give you some thoughts. So here we have his 2L. It's a low, 7 frame low, pretty standard in this game. The main thing is that it's pretty big. That's kind of nice. Mostly for that, there are cases where if you are, like, say, calling an assist or something, the assist can push them out of your 2L. This happens with some characters. It seems like it won't happen with Ultra Instinct Goku that much because his 2L is really big. Okay, so next, this is his 5L. So it's 7 frame startup. Of course, there's going to be more startup, it's more travel time. The big thing is that two things. One, the frame data is not good, it's -9. Two, it's 7 frames. So remember, they went out of their way to give characters 6 frame startup jabs because of how oppressive it is when you don't have a fast jab. So UI Goku will have to block. He does have a DP, but mashing is going to be pretty hard for him. So next is 2M. It's a low 2M. Okay, it's faster than SSJ Goku's. -7. Again, frame data is kind of a thing here. Again, he does so far, you know, and didn't look at his auto combo yet, like the full auto combo. But so far his frame data is not, like, super great, but the range is good. Once again, the range is good. That's fine. Okay, so next we have his 5M. That's 5M. It's a 2-hit move. The second hit is a low. It's kind of like adult Gohan's, except you can cancel both hits. It's -5, so he's like most characters, has one safe medium, one unsafe medium. It being multi-hits means you can't guard cancel it, and he has 3 lows at this point, so he actually is harder to reflect because, you know, he has more opportunities to tag you with a low. So next we have his 2H. He has a really odd 2H. He kind of, like, hops off of you. He has a lot of air options to my knowledge, so this is, like, pretty good that he's airborne. Usually, whether or not your 2H is, like, good is, like, are you grounded or are you airborne? If you're airborne, what type of options do you have? Besides that, it's a pretty standard 2H though, but as you can see, he has a pretty good special cancel options in the air. Now, the other thing about his 2H is that there basically is, like, not that much, like, landing recovery. It looks like there's no landing recovery at all on it. And you recover in the air. So this is actually kind of similar to what GT has now. So he bounces back really far. So mix-ups are probably, it depends on assist, of course, but it might be a little hard to structure mid-screen. But in the corner, he's not going to get pushed back so far, right? Because there's nowhere else to go. So you'll actually have the opportunity to do a bunch of tricks and stuff depending on your assists, which I'm kind of looking forward to exploring. Okay, so next is his 5H. So this falls in line with a couple characters. It looks like Gogeta's a little bit, or like hits. Just from seeing it too, if you do like a dash 5H, you'll get some extra range on it as well. Nothing much to say. I do know as far as, and they're about to show it, so if it hits, it's not like most 5Hs, where like most 5Hs you get sent horizontal. This one kind of sends you up, so combo monsters will have some fun with this probably. But besides that, it's a pretty standard tool. Also, I kind of like how he advances a little bit. I'm not sure if like that's a guaranteed one. Like if you're point blank, does it do that or not? But it looks like it could be really good for corner carry, especially good for corner carry. So next up, we have his auto combo. So that's his auto combo. There's a few things. Immediately, you see the side swap, right? It turns around. There's a couple characters who have this, but also the other interesting property is on the second hit of his 5L. It's invincible to low attack. So as we know, they added Jab Dragon Rush in this game, so this gives them a nice easy strike throw. There's a couple other characters who have low invincible moves in general, like Vegeta would be another one. So you could use it the same way. You could set up the Dragon Rush situation, but with him you would set up a Jab and then use the follow-up of the auto combo to hit them out of their Dragon Rush or their 2L, since he's airborne no matter what. Okay, so the last thing is about his auto combo. As you can see, so the last hit of his auto combo is actually a grab. So this exists in other characters as well, like 16 and Zamasu and Broly, for example. So of course, normally you won't be able to use it, right? But if you have the right amount of blocks done, so an assist like Trunks Change the Future or like Vegeta Energy Slicer, you should be able to set something up like this. Okay, so next we have S moves, right? So first we have the 5S. Before I even talk about the S's, so there's a really common theme where basically all his S moves beat Super Dashes and Ki Blast, which is, of course, as we know, that's amazing, right? The game is pretty much defined in neutral by these two. Like, these are two really core parts of the game. His 5S looks like a super adult Gohan 5S, and it looks way easier to convert. It's multi-hits, so it makes it easier to convert, which is super, 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 super nice. Again, beats Super Dash and beats Ki Blast. So the other thing they didn't really touch on is that it seems to be 21 frame startup no matter what, but it's -5, which is really nice, so it's safe on block. So next we're going to look at his 2S. So his 2S is basically the same as his 5S, the main difference being that it is an anti-air and not horizontal control. Now, as you saw, because he did get hit, so it does beat Super Dash again, but this is a lot about the angle. So you could use it as a direct anti-air when they get close to you for Super Dash, but also if they're far in that line, you can tag them too. So there's like two main uses. I would personally, at a glance, definitely use it as if they're far and jumping, I would tag them. So this is his 6S. His 6S also beats Super Dashes. I actually don't know what this is for besides combo filler, really. They didn't really show it on block per se. The other thing is, it kind of depends like what they end up giving the character, right? Like Gatling wise, because he has like a lot of extra moves. Like 6S is not a common thing that characters have, and he has a 2S, and he has the multi-hitting 5M that you can cancel either hit. So his block strings are actually pretty flexible. So here they're gonna cover their air moves really quick. So at a glance, the JL is that jab. The JM is a pretty standard JM, but it's really good horizontal range, so you could be like point blank and still cross him up with it. His jump heavy is like Zamasu's. It looks like Zamasu's like a really deep kind of like heel kick. The jab, as usual, they tend to give new characters good jabs against Super Dashes, so he has the same thing. No surprise there, really. So now we're moving to his special moves. So first is 236. This is 236 series. Now, it's a hit grab, it's not command grab, and as usual, you know, things have cross-up protection and stuff like that. It has full invincibility, but it doesn't look fast. The first question, and they didn't talk about this, is there a version that has a frame 4 invincibility? Because if there is one, then that is super, super, super obnoxious. Hopefully they're smart enough to not do that. But this obviously looks like an anti-zoning kind of thing. Seems to be, seems to be fast enough on the invul that you could do this type of thing on reaction. The M version goes pretty far, but they're not fast. So, and since it's not fast, the invincibility is not fast, you obviously can't match it. But again, I don't know about the EX version. Okay, so the other big thing about this move that they're showing off is that it's -2 on block. That's definitely privilege in the game. You could definitely set up things that other characters would not normally get to set up off this situation. The other thing too is that it's 16 frames, so this means two things. The EX version is 16 frames. I'm assuming that's the fastest one. Point blank, talking about point blank. So this means that there's always going to be a gap unless you have some type of special blocks done, but you can't really see the move. It's a pretty common type of guessing game that's in this game. At least you'll have some type of response you will be able to do, so that's kind of nice. So next, this is Air 236. This is the Infinity Rush. Good frame data, of course. I think this is mostly combos, so like the medium version of this move, you always get a slide knockdown where you land directly in front of them. So normally in this game, you go like kind of flying downwards. and then you have a lot of frame advantage, but you have to run up to them. But he always lands directly in front of you, so in the corner it doesn't like make a difference, like you don't really notice it. But mid-screen, it's kind of similar to, think about what it looks like when Trunks is like a light flip with jab into Shining Slash, right? So here's the example they show. They do a super basic combo just to show you. So he goes into the medium Infinity Rush and he goes straight down and falls you. It's really, really strong. Mid-screen, generally, slide knockdowns are kind of rough, so that's definitely a nice thing to have. So next they go over their stances. So this is Corsicle back on the ground. The medium version, he hops around. The L version, he hops once. When you hold a button, you get to do a follow-up, if my understanding is correct. It beats beams. He literally skates over the beams. We've been memeing about Ultra Instinct stuff in the game basically since the game came out, and now you can actually do it with a command on the character. The first thing I want to say is that this game has pretty serious crossover protection. So from day one, people have been trying jump over assist call. They took out cross up Goldo, right? So while this doesn't necessarily like set up cross ups, it sets up visually confusing situations, which is definitely very nice. The other thing that's big for me is that it's plus frames. It's slow, because this is pretty common in the game too. Like a move that's like 30 something frames startup, but it's plus frames, right? I'm assuming you could 2H this if it's like Trunks's, or I believe Krillin has one too that's plus, and you could 2H it. He also has like different follow-ups on it. They were saying this is good for him because when he's alone, he'll be able to do stuff, so he could act as an anchor. But I kind of disagree. Like usually when you have too much of that, like if you have like say base Goku, who we all agree is a really good anchor, the thing that he has to open you up is fast. It's a 20 frame command grab. This type of thing seems much stronger with assist than alone. It's good for like if you want to play that kind of baiting game, like am I gonna do it or am I not? But like that dual layer type of 50-50 is not something that you want. Not am I gonna do it, am I not, and then what's the thing I'm gonna pick? You just want am I gonna do it or not, like flat out. Like am I gonna grab you or am I gonna poke? Okay, so I want to touch on the EX version also because they get really hyped for it. So there's a crumple. It's massively advantageous, right? It's like plus 100. You have mad time to flex. And they specifically like, yeah, you could reset with them with this because they're standing. I will teach you all an important fighting game trick to protect you from this before the character even comes out. When someone tries to standing reset you in a game like this, in hit stun, hold up, and they will basically get to call out your reset, your jump attempt with like a medium or something. If people try any sort of like cross-up resets or stuff like that, you'll just jump out. I don't really think of it as a reset opportunity per se. It's definitely nice for combos and stuff, and I think there's a type of situation where you could do like some legitimate resets, basically sparking. But as far as like just popping it out, no. That being said, the move is really, really cool looking. Okay, so next we have his beam. So his beam, they put some flash on it. The angle is kind of weird. He flips and does a diagonal down beam, but it does reach full screen. He can use it in the air as well. This is also one of his assists. It has good horizontal range. It's basically just a standard Kamehameha. Some people were calling it like GTs but aiming downwards. But as far as the assists, which I'll talk about a little bit later, it's like Cells, except he appears closer to the ground, so it doesn't have that main benefit of it's hard to hit him out of the assist. Okay, so next I want to talk about his special recovery that he has. So I don't know if you could do this on slide knockdown. They said you could, I believe, but you could definitely do it off like random air hits and stuff. This move is basically like an anti-scramble. So as you may or may not know, like a really common option is to like delay down tech in the air when someone drops a combo and then like mash. So with him instead, he basically has an extra air tech option where you, for lack of a better word, you DP them out of your tech. It's super punishable. They treat it like a DP2, so if you vanish, there's so much of a gap that you could 2H, but it's just an additional option you have to watch out for. It always tracks to you as well. If it's like actually a DP though, you shouldn't be able to call assist, and I don't think they tried. They just said, yeah, you can call an assist, but I didn't actually see them try to do it, so I'm gonna say I don't know yet, but it's just something that's definitely good to know. Definitely super high risk. I don't know what the damage is gonna be like, of course, but it's just another option you kind of have to watch out for. It fits with that counter theme, and of course, like, you know, how in Ultra Instinct he's supposed to be able to like dodge and deal with everything. So this is UI Goku's DP. It's a pillar, it's his A assist. It reaches super high. I think it probably reaches to the top of the screen. As an assist, it's like jam session. As a DP, it's pretty much straight up DP. So next, I want to look at another definitive UI Goku move, his 6H. So this is a counter move. Unfortunately, I can't really tell how fast this is. How fast this is will determine how good it is, but let's assume it's like hits and it's like 5 frames. It's really clearly strong tool. Depending on when you do it, he's on either plus or he gets a punish. And in a game, honestly, that is run by like beams, beam assist, and like neutral skip, a tool like this is incredibly strong. He definitely was made with what is good in the game in mind already, I think. So I'm going to talk about his parry super next. He has a parry level 1. It's quite fast. Seems to hit assists, beams, buttons. It's like mostly everyone else's. This is kind of unique though in that assist trigger it, I believe. So that's kind of unique. Usually these type of moves are usually beat by either assist or ki blast. And he could do it on the ground, so you know, like, there's some characters who can only do it in certain places. So in the case of Cooler, one of the issues that Cooler had was that when you snapped him in, you didn't have to worry about his counter super because it only activates on the ground, if I recall correctly. This just continues to fit into the theme of, it's UI Goku, he counters a lot of stuff. Supers seem to beat it, but honestly, if someone does like a level 1, 2 like that, then you just gotta hold that, they're better than you. So next we're going to look at his level 3. They kind of downplayed this a little bit, but I don't think it's that bad. You can't see it in this example, but he goes rushing full screen, so of course I can go through stuff, again, fitting with that counter theme. Damage is not too high, technically, like it's above 4k, but you know there's characters that do more than like 4300, right? He's plus 38, so his is like, oh, get over there and do something. So they're concerned about, you know, like, can he do like high-low mix, which is fair. Can he do like high-low mixes or whatever? But his is just about like getting over there and continuing his turn more than anything else. It's similar to Super Saiyan Goku's, especially like the positioning. But unless they nerfed it in this patch, it has less frame advantage than his, but only slightly. Plus 38 is a good amount of advantage for one of these. Okay, so next is his walk. So we gotta talk about this. His walk beats Ki Blast. But you have to be walking. You can't be dashing. You can't do stuff out of it. You just have to walk. So, of course, on Twitter, people were memeing about this. Like, oh my god, this is broken, this is broken. But, again, you can't be dashing. You have to specifically be walking to do this. And there are types of moves that will beat the walk anyway. It's still good, and it beats stuff that... Like, for example, the easy example would be characters with super good Ki Blast, multi-hitting Ki Blast, like Teen Gohan, Frieza, Broly. He can just straight up walk through. But it's, again, if he picks something out of it, it has to be something that's frame 1. So this makes talking about his toolset and when things activate mean a little more, right? So, for example, let's just assume the parry is frame 1. Like, if you walk through and then go into the parry super and it activates frame 1, then that could obviously be pretty good. But usually you can cancel stuff off the Ki Blast, so using this will definitely take some further experimentation, I think. So they actually go into some more detail on this, so I definitely want to expand on it. I know people are going to comment on this too. So one of the examples is that you can walk through Ki Blast at 6H, right? But because the Ki Blast, you know, you can vanish cancel them on whiff, you can vanish, but depending on the character and the interaction, Ultra Instinct Goku can 2H you first. But again, like I said, you have to definitely build this situation out. And like as you are seeing, like standard projectiles like beams and stuff and blasts, he can't dodge it. It's specifically about Ki Blast. But that being said, it's because Ki Blasts are so low commit compared to like your standard beams. Remember that beams, they have to connect on an opponent for you to do anything. If it doesn't connect, you're just a sitting duck. So it makes sense that he can't walk through those, as opposed to Ki Blast where you can vanish, cancel them, you could do super dash, you have Gatling options, you have a bunch of things you could do. Okay, so next we're going to look at his assists, starting with the A assist, the one that everyone is super hyped for, including myself, Rising Heat, aka Jam Session. So this is a huge pillar. It's his DP. It's a huge pillar. It's really easy to combo. They're super floaty. It's pretty fast. On air block, it's like plus 31, because on block on the ground it's plus 25, right? So you get 6 extra frames. Very easy to hit confirm off of, like I said. This is Really nice to have in this game. Again, jumping is super strong. It's a pillar that goes straight up. I don't know how big the pillar is in the air, but at least when it's nearby, you know, like touching him specifically, the range is pretty nice. As you can see here, it's really easy to combo as well. So next we're going to look at his B assist. It's Kamehameha again. Another Kamehameha assist. His is in between a standard beam and Cell's. It doesn't go as high as Cell, as I said before, and he appears pretty far in front, but the range is good. Generally, he appears slightly behind you, but you know, it just depends on how you're moving and stuff. The main advantage that Cell has is that he's really high in the air. I've talked about this 45-degree type of assist, but UI Goku is not quite like that. But I would have to personally experiment with moving around with him to see how he appears and stuff. The range is kind of nice, and it's easy to hit confirm. It's the same startup as Cell's apparently too. So it's kind of nice. It's just a standard beam assist. So if you feel like using a beam and you're dropping a beam to play him, then you do have an option available. Okay, so his last assist is the C assist, Unrestrained Will. Okay, Dragon Ball-S move, right? So it's a tracking assist, they say. So they really kind of downplayed his assist, right? The clear use for me is that this is an anti-air assist. It does track, but it's not about calling it, because, you know, it's not fast. You need to super dash at them and call it, and it will work the way you want it to work. Here, they're not quite using it the right way. If you need a C assist, this is not a bad option. His other assist, especially like the A assist, is probably the one that people are really going to be using him for. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm not going to go too much into combo stuff. They review combos and stuff in the original recording. Again, I'll have a link to the Twitch archive and the YouTube video eventually, because I know Namco usually likes uploading the YouTube video. So one thing about UI Goku is that it seems like they are trying to address things that are strong in the game in general, like Ki Blasts and beams and stuff like that. This is their third time trying to make a counter character. So of course Hit, they've had success with Hit. Hit has usually been pretty good. Jiren, of course, was kind of like a drop. He's usually not that good. So far from looking at the tools day one, it seems pretty strong, but we would have to see long term, of course. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. I don't know that much about him yet. I will have him on Wednesday, so definitely look forward to a stream on Wednesday and videos on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on UI Goku. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.